Hi, everybody, and welcome back to episode 3 of Over 40 and Child Free YouTube Style. We are so excited to introduce everyone to Stephanie Ritz. Stephanie is a business strategist, mind coach, and full-time traveler who helps aspiring coaches and consultants to start and grow their businesses alongside their 9 to 5 so they can hand in their notice with confidence with a profitable and sustainable business. Stephanie's experience in entrepreneurship, corporate leadership, and mentoring roles serve as the foundation for her one-to-one consulting and coaching program.
Welcome, Stephanie. We're super excited to have you. We're super excited to hear all about you.
Thank you so much. I am very, very excited to chat with you ladies. I am just loving your channels and all the fun and energy that you are bringing to this very specific community who really need each other, I think. So I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad we found you. You fit right in. So this is great. So to get started, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, as Tracy said, I am a business coach, and I really work with, primarily people who are in a 9 to 5 job who want to start a side hustle. They know in the long term they love to be able to be their own boss, and whether that's so that they can travel more like I do, or be home with pets, kids, be able to work from anywhere, whatever their goal and mission is. That's really my goal, is to support them in creating that vision. And so I'm able to travel the world full time with my business. And so it's been just an exciting couple of years of literally traveling and meeting clients via Zoom and sometimes in person to help them in growing this dream of theirs, this vision for having their own business.
Awesome. So tell us, where are you calling in from today?
I'm currently in Budapest. This is my last weekend here. I've been here for almost a month, and I'll be heading to Ireland for a month next.
Oh, so cool.
Jealous.
I know. Oh, that's amazing.
You really live the dream life that we all think about.
It was quite an adventure to get here, but just sometimes you have to take a leap and say, you know what, we only have one life. And if I'm not living my best life and I have an opportunity to create that for myself, I'm just going to go for it. And I know it's so much easier said than done. But at the end of the day, I was like, what is it actually going to take? How do I do this? And I just put a plan together and went for it. And now I'm living it, and it really is amazing.
So when did you finally decide, I don't want to just do this 9 to 5 job, I want more?
Yeah, it was during COVID. I had been recently divorced, and the prior fall, I had taken my very first solo trip. I'm from your neck of the woods in Pennsylvania. I grew up going to the Jersey Shore. I did not travel international. That was not a thing. I mean, I didn't get my passport until I was married years later, went on my honeymoon, and it was a very short-lived marriage. And I also do have a son who's grown now, so I'm an empty nester. And when he left, it was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do with myself now? I think I'm going to travel. And so I took my first solo trip, and I was so scared to do that because I didn't have travel experience, let alone with a partner or anyone else. So once I did, I went to Italy, and it just changed my life. I'm like, wow, I can do this. I can go and travel and see the world. And now I have the time and the space to do it. And so I booked my next trip, and I had front loaded all of my PTO from corporate to take an almost 3-week vacation to South Africa. And that was unfortunately scheduled for March 17th, 2020.
Oh.
And so I got all the way to JFK, bags on the airplane, and I got the text message, don't get on the plane, go home, everything is canceled. So it was literally in that moment I went home, and I was just feeling devastated and not realizing I was about to have months of quarantine ahead of me. But it was after I wiped away the tears from the sadness of missing my trip, I was like, what am I going to do? I need to find something else to do with my life. I need to find something with more purpose, because I was really great at my job, but I didn't love it. And I was just feeling like I need to do something else. And so I started my business, and I just absolutely loved it. I just fell in love with being able to coach and mentor and support people. And my intention wasn't necessarily to get out of my job right away. It was maybe in like 5-6 years down the line, like this is just going to be a side hustle. I'm going to slowly grow it. Yeah, no, that was not happening. I mean, I loved what I was doing so much. And after our year of quarantine, I asked my boss if I could relocate so I could be somewhere that made me feel a little bit more inspired. And I was tired of the Pennsylvania winters. And he said no, which I couldn't believe because I had run my territory for over a year remotely.
Right.
But once we started getting back into things and he said no, I was like, okay, well, I have a choice here. Like, he's not going to decide my life for me. And so I'm like, what can I do at this point? Because I wasn't ready to leave. I hadn't built my business up yet to that point where I was like ready to exit with confidence and be like, yes, I can do this on my own. So I decided to become a digital nomad while in my corporate job and growing my business. So I sold all of my things and started living in hotels and Airbnbs all over the Northeast part of the country because that's where my territory was. So I kind of like stepped into the lifestyle that I wanted before I actually had it because I was like, I need to be motivated. I want to start living my life now. You just never know. I think everybody kind of got that feeling coming out of COVID. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Right.
I got to seize the moment. So that's what I did. It was like, it was two months later. My lease was coming up. We had that conversation in March. By May, everything was gone and I was out of there. So I started traveling. And then once I started like living the lifestyle, I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of the corporate grinds. This is what I love. I found something I'm really passionate about. I'm really great at what I do. And I want to like travel outside of the US and not be stuck with PTO. So that was it. I put the exit strategy in place. I had very clear like boxes that I wanted to check. It had to be the right timing for my family, all these things. So it was 1 year later after that conversation with my boss that I handed in my notice and started traveling full time with my business.
That's amazing. And I love that you planned it and you weren't
Yeah.
just like, I'm just going to go for it, because that's scary. And a lot of people do that. And I think that's where they fail. But you need that, step by step, this is how I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. Being single, I didn't have like a partner to like fall back on financially or to get their corporate health benefits or,
Right.
contribute more to their 401k. Like I had to really like strategize and plan this out. So yeah, I was very diligent in that process, but I always like my eye on the ball. Like I know what I want. So now I just got to like stay the course and get there as quickly as possible in the most responsible way.
I have to say, I totally understand growing up and not going, not traveling. I didn't get a passport till I got married. I think international travel when we grew up in this area was the which Jersey Shore are you going to go to? So like, are you going to go to Seattle this time or Avalon? And they were all the different. That was like the most international type travel you had here where we grew up, right? So
yes, exactly. Am I going to be going to the boardwalk in Wildwood? Or are we going to go low key in Ocean City? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Big decisions.
So for the people that are listening, I mean, like, I'm already like, well, can I make Mike figure out how he could travel? What can he do? He's the one that has the good job and the steady income. But what's the biggest piece of advice that you'd give someone who's thinking about doing what you're doing, starting their own business, getting out of that 9-to-5, becoming either, I think it's really cool that you did like a baby step and did the digital nomad starting just in the Northeast. So like, what advice do you have for people that are just starting out or thinking about it, or they haven't even started, they're in the dream stage?
Yeah, I would like write down why exactly you want it, because this isn't going to be for everyone and it's not going to be easy. Like having your own business does have its own set of challenges that comes with it. So really getting grounded in like, why is it important for you to start a business or start traveling? And then don't baby step into it. Don't dip a toe into it. Go the hell all in. Like, start making a plan, figure out your strategy and really go for it. And that doesn't mean like quit your job or you need to spend 40 hours a week. Decide that you're going to spend 10 hours a week, dedicate your weekends and your nights and really like go for creating the plan, because the longer you wait and the slower you go is going to yield the results that you achieve. So if you're like, this is something I'd love to do in the next year, 2 years, then slow kind of stepping into it and keeping it as like, I'm just going to like see how it goes. If that's your mindset going into it, it's going to be a really long road to get there. So make the decision, understand why it's important to you. And if it feels like a strong enough, compelling reason, take the leap and just dive in, and don't allow other people's opinions or assumptions or their own limiting beliefs prevent you from pursuing your dream, because we only get one shot at this. And so why not do everything you can to make it your best life?
Awesome. And what did your family or what did your son think about you kind of saying, I'm picking up and I'm going to travel and I'm going to go be living, over here? How was that conversation?
He was like, go for it, Mom. I mean, my family was really supportive. I had my son very, very young. And except for those handful of years I was married, I was a single mom most of that time. And so he saw me struggle, financially. He saw me rise. He saw me step up to the occasion. And I would say that I definitely rubbed off on him, because he started college right before COVID. And so COVID totally threw a wrench into his plans, and he decided not to continue. And I supported him in that, whatever he wanted to do to try to kind of figure out next steps for him. And he was like, I think I want to go somewhere. Like, I want to get out of Pennsylvania. I've been here my whole life. And like, if you want to travel, I think I will too. So he decided to move to Nashville. So I relocated him down to Nashville, and that was part of my exit plan, was to make sure he was secure, that I could financially support him in his very young adult life still. And then he was all set up to go. So I think he got a little inspiration from Mom, and was just really, really supportive, knowing that I'm always still a phone call away. Like, technology today makes it very easy for me to stay in touch with family and, friends and such. So yeah, they've been very supportive.
That's awesome. So like mother, or like son, like mother, that's super cool. Well, I have to ask you, so obviously you're a business coach and you can help people do this. And I took a sneak peek at your program, popped up on Facebook for me. And first of all, the name of it was awesome. Plane Ride to Profits. I was like, yes. So you have to tell us more about that, more about what it does for people. How'd you come up with it? Like, how long you've been doing it? I don't know. Give us all the good stuff and make us wish that we were at the places you're going to be, because there's cool places coming up in 2024.
Yes. And, that's what I was getting like so much of, like, oh, you're so lucky, or, oh, I'd love to be able to go there. And so that's kind of actually what got the juices flowing for this, because my coaching business is completely online. I've got clients literally all over the world. And that's primarily how, my coaching program works. But actually, I had like one client who she's got kids, she's working in 9 to 5 and building her side hustle. And she was just feeling, I think, overwhelmed with brain space to even like think about her business with the young kids and everything. And so I invited her to come to Florida, where I was. And I created this whole little luxury retreat for the two of us, so she can step away from home, have really focused time on her business. And so that really was kind of like the starting place for us to kind of like create an opportunity to invite more people, because that time that she had while we were away was so incredible for her business and the results. And she was so thankful for the invitation to like get out of her house, away from her job, away from her kids. And so I did it with a couple more clients, and I was like, this is it. Like, there's magic here. I know, like, for me as an extrovert, I'm really great in person with people, and pulling out of them was really powerful for them in their business. So I decided, people wanting to travel, they're wanting to get out of their house, and this could actually literally be a business investment. Like, this is a business expense. So I'm going to invite people to where I am, which was another really cool thing, because there's other coaches that do this in this space, but the cost and the investment is very exorbitant, because they have to cover their own travel expenses, the clients, staying there, the food, all of that. And I don't have to do that, because I'm already going to be in all of these places. So I'm just inviting people to where I'm going to be and supporting them with a luxury business experience to really spend focused time on their business, which is so valuable when you are building it alongside a 9 to 5 or a family or dogs or all the other things that we have at home that kind of pull us away from the things that we most want to focus on. So that's how Plane Ride to Profits was kind of born. It was kind of an accidental thing with inviting a client to come join me in Florida, doing it with a couple more clients. And then, yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm traveling the world. This is not going to stop in the near future. So I'm just going to keep inviting people to come with me and have a luxury business experience. And the results that have come from that have just been absolutely incredible. So people are loving it, and I'm really excited to continue offering it.
That's awesome. And some of the places you're going, tell us some of the places that you are going. I know I saw you're coming home for a
I am.
So
I do. I come home like every 6 months. And that is part of like travel life when you are 40 and over. Like you got to go see your doctor. You got to go like, do all the checkups and all the things. And so, I grew up in Philly. That's where all of my people are. So I do come home every 6 months. And so that's always part of my rotation. But I am actually in Europe. So kind of starting in Europe, I'm going to Paris. So I invited people to Paris in September. I already have someone booked in when I go to Florence in October. So kind of skipped a month and I'll be coming home. So I added Philadelphia and Atlantic City to the list because I will be home, and those are really fun locations to have an intensive. I'll be going down to visit my son in Nashville. So inviting him, I'll be there for a month. That's too much time with your mom. So I'm like, I'm gonna throw a little bit of business in there in between. So after that, I'll be going back to Australia, which I've never been to Brisbane before. I've been to Australia, but it's such a huge country that I'm like, I got to try somewhere new. So I'm going there. And then the bucket list location that I haven't been to that I've always dreamt of going is New Zealand. So I added Auckland onto this round of Plane Ride to Profits as well.
I'm jealous of all of the places that you're going, except for maybe Australia, because let's have a really quick sidebar about Australia. So kangaroos. Kangaroos.
Love them.
Yeah, from far away, or baby ones. But I don't know if you've seen the jacked up kangaroos. Okay. And I'm going to give you a travel tip while you're there. If you see a kangaroo in water, don't go in the water because he's just waiting to drown you.
Noted.
So not swim. Like you can go swimming with dolphins. You cannot go swimming with kangaroos.
Noted. I'm going to send you a picture after this, Nicole. I have got the sweetest picture of me with kangaroos taking selfies, hugs. I have one kissing me on the cheek. Most kangaroos are actually very gentle and loving. There are some that are those like jacked up kangaroos that you don't go near, and they're fenced off. They have their own little space that you don't go near them. But kangaroos can be really, they're like deer. They're like the deer of Australia. They're everywhere. Sometimes they're in the road when they shouldn't be, sometimes they're a little bit of a nuisance, but like, you see them in the backyard eating the grass, and they're cute from afar. And generally they're, if they happen to approach you, they're usually gentle. They're not usually aggressive. But then once in a while, you get that buck who's like insane and will come charging at you. I think that's the kangaroo that you're referring to. Yeah, I would say like kangaroos are like the deer of Australia.
Okay, I will try to picture them for that. I'm looking forward to the pictures of your selfies with kangaroos. But man, I don't know. I think I've seen way too many. The internet has gotten to me because I have not been to Australia. I would like to go because I really want to see the bats, because bats in Australia are super cool. They're like the pretty cute little, they call them like the puppies of the sky. I want to see them, but the kangaroos, man. But yeah, this is what I think now. This was on my travel bucket list. Also, maybe I want to go to a beach in Australia and see a great white, but not while I'm in the ocean. So I'm just also, yeah. So maybe if I don't know, Brisbane, is there a beach there? Because maybe watch out for the great whites too if you're going to be swimming.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the Gold Coast. But yeah, don't worry. I'm not into the sharks either. You're much more likely to find me at a pool than a beach, for maybe an hour or two. But no, I'm with you on that. I had not heard about the bats though. I didn't. Yeah, that wasn't a big thing when I went there. But koalas, the koalas are very loving.
Oh,
and
you got her.
Oh, are they cuddly?
I'll send you a picture. I have one literally, I'm hugging this koala for 15 minutes. It wasn't like one of those 2-second zoo selfies. I literally got to hold him, and he was so sweet. I'm telling you guys, you got to go to Australia. It's not what we think in the US. We hear a lot of this is where you go to die with all the poisonous animals and things that are going to kill you. It's not true.
Large
I mean, if you
spiders?
go
What
I
about
didn't
large
see any
spiders?
large spiders.
Okay.
No. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. If you go to certain places in the country, I'm sure that they are there. But generally, in most of the cities, you will be safe.
All right, I'll take your word of it. I'm looking forward now to seeing the pictures. Maybe you'll change my mind on kangaroos. But okay, I have one more. I have another question. This is totally. We're gonna backtrack a little bit because
Yes.
So when you decided that you were gonna say goodbye, you were gonna do this thing full time, and you had already started kind of moving around the Northeast, did you stay in the US at first and kind of travel around the US, or did you immediately say, I'm good, I'm going, and then you're just off to other countries? What did that first year look like for you?
So the first year after I moved, I got a little Airbnb very close to home to wrap up some loose ends. And then I was like, I'm going to actually travel before I settle into the Northeast. So I went to Alaska and then I went to California. I'd never been to that area of the West Coast before. So I went to San Francisco and just was living my best life. Alaska was amazing. That was a big birthday celebration for me to go in the summertime. It was beautiful. And then, I was like, all right, I'm just going to start picking Airbnbs. And I already traveled a lot for work. So I was staying in hotels half the time anyway. So I rented a long-term Airbnb in Vermont and then Maine, which in the fall in Northeast, you guys know, is just absolutely stunning. Mm-hmm. So once I went back to Pennsylvania a couple of times, I had to kind of help my son in between some of his moves before he moved down to Nashville. So, and my sister was having a baby. And so that was kind of the last check mark. I can't leave until she has the baby. So everything lined up perfectly. She had the baby in February. And by March, I was giving my notice. And then in April, I spent some time down in Florida with my parents. And then I was like, okay, it's time to pick a destination and just go. All my stuff's gone. I don't need to be here anymore. So I sold my very last big possession, which was my car. And I was off. And so, for the first year, it was being in the US kind of gave me a sense of what do I really need? What is going to be important for me to keep versus what can I start to get rid of because I had still too much stuff. It was hard to let go of a lifetime of things.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of very freeing, and I'm still getting rid of things as I go. But it's still always a learning and different experience as you're going to different places with what you need and what are comforts from home that are non-negotiable.
That's awesome. So what is the favorite place that you've traveled to? Your hands down, this is my favorite place that I've ever gone to.
Everybody asks me that. It is the hardest question to answer because when the Jersey Shore is your benchmark for travel, everywhere is amazing. And it truly has been I feel this is where I kind of feel like a kid again, going to Disney World. It's so new. Every place I go to is wow, people live so differently here. This is what they eat. This is how they talk. This is what the experience is like. This is how the roads are constructed. Everything is new everywhere I've gone. I haven't gone anywhere twice because there's so much of the world to see. But I will say the only place I'm going back to so far that will be a duplicate is Florence, Italy. I love Italy. It's where it all started for me. And so I'm going back there in October and I can't wait. So we'll say that's my favorite. Although I have got so many, there's so many special places, Kenya and Thailand and Australia, I just loved everywhere. It's all a magical experience.
Has there been a place where the people were more accepting and welcoming and, because sometimes you hear the stories don't go here, they don't like Americans.
I'm going to be honest, I've got Paris coming up soon, and I have heard that more than any other place. Like, beware, the French are not as welcoming as some of the other places. So TBD, we'll see how that goes. But I still think I don't care. I mean, when you're from Philly, you just don't care, right? Like, you can be rude. It's okay. I'm still going to be here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. It's okay. I'll accept your rudeness. But that might not be true. I'll let you guys know how the experience is. But Thailand, I think, had the most welcoming overall culture. Like, everybody there. And I went to 2 places in Thailand. I went to Bangkok and Phuket. And both places were just very happy to have tourists, very welcoming. You know, they call it the land of smiles. And they truly are like happy to serve you and support you and to guide you and to answer your questions. So yeah, I would say Thailand.
Okay.
Very cool. What day is Phuket? Did you go to the beach where, isn't that the beach that was like I don't know, the movie The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio? Was that where it was? Or am I just making that up? I don't know. They
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep, you're right. Yep. They have a couple famous beaches there and they are phenomenal. Like, you go into the Jersey Shore and you're like, what is that? Like, the water is freezing, it's murky, you don't really know what you're stepping on. And in literally everywhere in Thailand, you go to the beach and it's clear and it's warm, like stepping right into bath water, and it's so beautiful and the sunsets are incredible. I just love it. I don't think I could ever go back to the Jersey Shore again.
I understand that, and I haven't even been to half the places you've been to, so yes, I get it.
So on the opposite side, I won't say where's the worst place you've ever gone, but have you traveled somewhere where you were like, I'm really glad that I experienced this, but I'm never going to go back there?
Don't send me hate mail, people. I'm going to keep it real, keep it honest. I'll share my opinion on this, but I would also say, like, everybody has expectations and experiences that are their own. So
Right.
Just because this was my experience does not mean it will be yours. But there's only one place I could think of, and that would be Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia was not the place that I felt like I would want to go back. Like, really beautiful culture, things I saw there and experienced there were amazing. I did my first ever rock climbing there, but I was there long enough and experienced enough of it that I'm like, cool, I'm good. Every other place I think I would probably go back to, literally everywhere else I've been.
Okay. That's
cool.
honest and fair.
That is. You just mentioned that you went rock climbing. Have there been any experiences in certain places that stood out? Like, when I think about like vacations I've been on, like, I went to this really cool small island, Dominica, and we went river tubing down these beautiful blue waters in the mountains that they had. And like, they're just experiences that I'll remember that were so cool. Have you done like cool things that you're just like, that was like the neatest thing that I've done ever, like in some of these places?
Yeah, I mean, I love adventure. I love like experiencing new things. I think there was a tour that I did in Thailand, in Phuket, that was just the whole day was so culturally enriching, a little bit of adventure, and it was canoeing through these like caves that were so low that you literally had to lay flat on the canoe while somebody rowed for you, like pushed you kind of through. And it was so gorgeous. And it went into the evening. So you can see the bioluminescence in the water at nighttime. And they had a whole ceremonial thing that, like, it was just beautiful. Like, the whole boat ride was beautiful. The food was amazing. The canoeing experience, just looking around and being in these little secret hidden gems of like Thailand islands. It was so incredible. So much fun. That one really, really sticks out in my mind as one of the things that I would highly recommend that everyone does if they happen to go to Thailand.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, speaking of food, best food, worst food.
I'm going to say food is really tough for me. I love food. I love junk food, but I'm a generally clean eater. And I would always, like, when I go on vacation, like, no limits, right? Like, there are no calories on vacation, but when you are always on vacation, it becomes tough. And I will say, like, I had, as you guys know, like, no travel experience, and I really wasn't sure what to expect. So when I got to South Asia, that was hard. I expected so much more clean eating, but everything is white rice and fried, like just so heavy on the carbs. And I just didn't expect as much fried food, like even the street food, everything was just like fried and carbs. And so I had like a really hard time adjusting to the food in South Asia. Generally speaking, in all the big cities, there's places where you can get other things that are a little bit more comfortable or more eclectic options. But yeah, generally speaking, that's where I would say I had like the biggest challenge, as well as Poland. Loved Poland. Poland blew my mind for how much I loved it. My expectations were not high going to Poland, and it just blew me away. I absolutely loved it there, but I'm not a fan of Polish food. Yeah, like my grandfather was Polish. This was like a heritage trip for me. And I was like, yeah, now I know why he ate chicken every night.
Okay. All right. Best food?
I mean, Italy. I'm literally like saving all of my calories for Italy. I'm going to eat all the things. I'm going to have like a whole like eat, pray, love in one situation and going into Italy. I can't wait to eat all of it. Yes, I love Italian food.
Okay, so do I. That's on my bucket list. I just really want to eat some fresh pasta, gelato. I want to eat pizza, all of the things. So we'll live vicariously through you until I get there.
Yes.
Is there anything else that we didn't talk about? Any places we didn't talk about? Any part of your journey so far that you want to share with people last minute? Anything last minute that you want to say?
Yeah, I think people look at this. They look at my life now and they feel like it's so unattainable, like it's so big and so far removed that it's like, how do I even take the first step? And literally, that is what I support people to do with entrepreneurship is your pathway. And like I said, it's not going to be for everyone, but I had to just start the business. I had to get started, and so it's just kind of like taking it one step at a time and not putting it out there like in 6 months, in 1 year, like putting a timeline to it, but just saying, okay, this is what I know that I want. This is my long-term goal. How do I get there? And let's start just taking the steps to do it, as opposed to feeling like I got to put the pressure on myself to say, I'm going to start a business and we'll see in 6 months. We'll see in a year. I'm just going to give myself this time. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We tend to put these like limitations on ourselves and not really give ourselves a chance to explore and, see what the process is going to develop into. And so I would say for anybody who is like listening to this and watching this and going, oh my God, she is living the life. There's no way I'd be able to do that. You can do this. It's going to be a step-by-step process. And I'm happy to have like a complimentary conversation with you to explore whether entrepreneurship is even the right path for you and how you can turn what you already know into a business. Because I think that's the other thing that stops people is they don't realize that they actually have so many skills and so much knowledge that they could turn into a business. If you've got a corporate job and you've been doing that for any number of years, I guarantee you have skills in there that you could use to start your own business. And I'd be happy to explore that further with you.
Awesome. That's so exciting. So we'll make sure that in our show notes and on our pages that we're going to put your link to the Plane Ride to Profit so that people know where they can reach out to you, book the complimentary call with you, and just connect with you probably so they can follow your travels and hear more about all that you're doing. So that's awesome. So we love to end our show with what we call Fast Five. So I'm going to throw some questions at you. We're just going to go through them really quickly. So give us the first thing that comes to your mind. So first question, what is your spirit animal?
A goat.
Okay, before I get to the second one, now I need to know about this. Okay, so tell us about why is a goat your spirit animal?
If you've ever heard goats scream, they scream like humans. And I love how they just emotionally release all the things at once. And then they just hop around and continue about their day. And they're loving and sweet. But still like, I got to get this out. Like, I got to get it. Like, I love that about goats. Like, they're not afraid to let loose. They're very like firm in who they are. And they're just out there living their best life.
I love that.
I do love that. That's awesome. Okay, might be my favorite answer so far. All right. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh, Chris Hemsworth. Love me some Hemsworth.
I hope you see him when you're in Brisbane. I don't know where
me too. Chris, call a girl. I will be there. I will come to wherever you are in Australia.
Awesome. All right. And okay, now this one is, I can't imagine what you're going to answer this one, but what is your favorite part of your job?
Helping people to get their first client. The reward of that, like seeing like I can do this, I'm able to like actually have a business and that people actually want to buy my services. There is nothing more magical than that moment of satisfaction that I've done all this work to create a business and now someone has hired me. And so supporting them through that is one of my favorite things of my business.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And so you travel a lot. So obviously travel is a hobby, but do you have any hobbies that you do within your big hobby?
Yes, I love to dance. I love to dance. I am a big dancer. Whenever there's like a pub crawl that ends at like a club, I might be the oldest one there. And I'm like, let's go, let's do this. I don't care. I want to go out dancing. I want to be with people to go dance. I don't want to go out and do it alone. So I try and do like find these pub crawls in all my locations that end in some sort of like nightclub, just so I can get to the end and go dance.
Love it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And last question, sunrise or sunset?
Sunset, hands down. I have been walking every night to go see the sunset over the Danube, and it is gorgeous. I mean, absolutely stunning. Can't get enough of it. And I'm not early up. I'm not an early riser, so I'm never there to see the sunrise. So sunset for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your time today. I loved hearing just about everything that you're doing, all the places that you're going. And I know we'll look forward to following your journey and connecting more in the future. And so for everybody that's watching, make sure you do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, share more about Stephanie because it's so cool. And then we'll see you all next time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, ladies.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.